Get your dice, losers. It's time to role play. Welcome to the Dead Unicorn, the tabletop role-playing game club. My name is Corey, and today we're talking about fashion and style. You know, this is probably not a subject that comes up often, but it does come up in the play of games. We all want to look good. In fact, I'm pretty sure that some of us are paying for Fiverr artists to go to college when we ask them to draw our RPG characters. We'll also bother our narrators to do shopping games where our players will go shopping for clothes, and the narrator will have to narrate all the cool styles, and some will be pricier than others, but what is the real difference between them? When a narrator describes a really cool dragon leather vest compared to a cloth cloak, is it just the amount of gold you have to spend? Sure, there are times in games when being fashionable matters. You're going to the King's Ball in a fantasy setting, or you're going to the winter court as a samurai. If you're a spy and need a sexy suit or dress, it matters. But how does it matter? How does it affect gameplay? Then there's the thing that ticks me off the most. When a game says and states over and over that fashion, being stylish, being cool matters, but the rules don't match it. There's no real rules for that in the game, which I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but Cyberpunk. They have skills for personal grooming and wardrobe and style. And you know what these skills do? Nothing. They are flavor skills whose only purpose is to give the narrator a vibe of how they're doing socially. Spending XP into them is almost a complete waste of time unless the GM does the heavy lifting in order for them to matter. The book has almost nothing to say. I did find this one rule where personal grooming could give you a +1 to persuasion or seduction. These are the kinds of great fashion rules that you will be able to find in Cyberpunk. So because the narrator has to do it all, their ideas of what the style does is just kind of in their head, so you as a player have no real context on how your outfit might be perceived by other characters in the world at large. And it would be good to have something on your character sheet that would give you some sort of idea of that. And yes, this is my biggest gripe with Cyberpunk. If you constantly say how important fashion is in the game, why are there no rules to enforce that? Okay, I have got to move on from this because I'm about to introduce fashion rules. And while I had Cyberpunk in mind when creating them, you can add them to most any RPG. But first, if you like this kind of content, please hit the like button. Personally, I'm just happy you clicked on the video and you wanted to watch. But just like your favorite RPG, YouTube has its own rules. And one of them is getting your viewers to like, comment, and subscribe if you want your video to be recommended to others who might like it. So please, just take a second to do that. It not only helps me, but it helps the RPG side of YouTube grow as well. Okay, so fashion rules. We gotta keep things simple, but with enough complexity to make different pieces of clothing matter. And to do this, we'll add 2 different axes of fashion, or 2 different stats that all pieces of clothing have. The first one is style. Style is a cool factor, something that makes you unique and interesting. Most people appreciate style unless they're very conservative, and therefore they really don't like things that are out of the ordinary. Or maybe they value other things like money or status over personal style. This is where the second stat comes in. That is clout. Clout of an outfit is how much it is sought after. Your outfit could be turd ugly, but if they are the work of an auteur, then it might have lots of clout. Fashion with clout might be expensive or very rare, made from things no ordinary person could have. These 2 ideas can give fashion a sense of balance, not only because you can give high style items lower clout, but because of how NPCs respond to them. Depending on the person you engage with, you might get bonuses or penalties depending on your fashion choices. For example, a gang member might see your character as a mark if they're wearing high clout fashion, but a CEO might respect your character for the same outfit. You'll want to add in appropriate bonuses and penalties for persuasion and intimidation roles for the game system you're using. For example, Dungeons & Dragons or Everyday Heroes, you can give advantage and disadvantage. In Cypher, you can give asset or hindrance. If you want to go further, we can. These rules can add a little more complexity, but not so much so as to be overbearing, and I think you'll like them. As we all know, as time passes, so too what is fashionable. So styles can take a hit with passing trends, and clout can take a hit with cheaper means of production or a lack of novelty. You can let your fashion degrade over time. This change should be on a season-to-season basis or a year-to-year basis, which might only be a concern for very long campaigns. The final rule I'd like to add to fashion are tags and keywords. Tags are words associated with an outfit that denote identity. For example, if the street gang, the Red Masks, have a certain style, a certain outfit, that outfit could be tagged with Red Masks. This could give a character a bonus with other Red Masks when persuading or lying to them. But their rival gang, the Blue Masks, might fire on you on sight. You can give these tags based on gangs, guilds, kingdom or clan, also nation. The river people tend to dress one way, while the mountain people tend to dress another. And people can recognize and make assumptions about your character based on that kind of dress. You can even add tags based on economic class, such as corporate, blue collar, or professional. You can even say, hey, this is men's clothes, and this is women's clothes. Tags can also be crucial for disguises, so remember to use the right tag when trying to pass yourself off as, let's say, a town guard. There are also keywords, and keywords give a mechanical effect. For example, cold weather can give bonuses in the winter time, so you don't freeze to death. Seductive can give bonuses to distraction. Obviously distraction. Finally, I recommend just giving out outfits rather than using just single pieces of clothing. It keeps everything a lot tidier, but if you must, you can add rules about making outfits. Something I think that should be added to these rules is clashing, right? An outfit that clashes usually doesn't work, and this should be tied to tags. For example, a New York jersey might not go with German lederhosen. Doing so will degrade the style of all fashion involved. For most of these clashes, it's up to the narrator to guide the player, but sometimes a person can make clashes work. If your RPG has style skills like aesthetics or wardrobe, give them a target number and have them roll some dice. If they succeed, let them get the full benefit from the clothing that would normally clash. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed the rules breakdown, and I'm curious about what you think of them. I love having a conversation with everyone across the internet about tabletop role-playing games, so please send me your comments. Now, I bet you'd like a copy of these rules, and if you go to my Patreon, I have integrated them into my Cypher's Rules Emporium document. With Neon Rain coming out later this year for Cypher, I hope these rules will fit right in with that game setting. Take that, Cyberpunk! So, go be a patron, and you'll have access to it and can use it next time you go roll some dice.